Well, things went well yesterday. I ended up closing a deal on a international tractor, 1950s. Pretty much sure that it's a utility 300, but gonna go take a ride over and see if we can't throw a battery on it, see if the engine's stuck or if it cranks over, if we get compression, do a couple preliminary checks, and we'll go from there. Now, I'd driven by this house hundreds of times, and I never knew, because of the way this pine tree was growing here, that sitting back here was this tractor. And lo and behold, I was doing some work for this customer, and we got to talking about old tractors and stuff. He said, "Oh, you know a little bit about old tractors?" I said, "Sure." So come take a look at this. We get to talking. Next thing I know, we're talking about me buying it. So that's what I did. So it's got some a little rough around the edges. Got truck tires on the front, which puts a lot of strain on the front end. It's got power steering, but the power steering's broken, and the steering gear is broken. And it had been broken at one point, and he had replaced a couple of gears, and then it broke again. And that's pretty much when he gave up on it. It's been sitting for years. Stale gas in the fuel tank, carbs probably all gummed up. Got a box plate on the back. Got the fast hitch system on the back. Some other goodies. It's got all the sheet metal. It's in the garage. But right now I'm just going to throw a battery on it and see if we can't get it to crank. Whew. Alright, so I got my my big heavy battery out of my old backhoe. And I got it back here on this tray, which on all the 300s that I've seen, the battery is actually supposed to be sitting up there. That's the bottom of the air filter housing right there, but the battery's supposed to sit up there. But this back here must have been toolbox maybe, or maybe on this particular model, maybe it's not even a 300, who knows. Anyways, I asked him about if it was 6 volt to 12 volt. He says, yeah, it was converted to 12 volt. Well, then I went around there and looked at the electrical system and realized the generator's gone, and there's a ballast resistor on the ignition coil. So I think basically what he told me was they just ran it off the battery, and when the battery would run down, they throw a charger on it. And he says he never actually had to do that very often. So who knows? But for right now, we're gonna see if we can't get the engine to turn over. Got some debris here. Doesn't look like anything big is stuck in there that's gonna impede it from turning and ruining the radiator. So let's see. I guess this would be the starter button. Nothing. Alright, let's see if I can't figure this out. Well, starter solenoid's right here on the side of the starter, so if I jump from this positive leg right here to here, that should engage the solenoid. Let's see if I can do this without shorting something out. That's not good. Oh well, it is an ignition key. That would explain why I can't get any action out of this button. You didn't give me a key with it. Doubt he even knows where it is. Well, it's mid-March here in New England, and you wouldn't know it looking around because there's no snow, and it was in the high 60s today. It's been an unusually mild winter with a lack of snow and high temperatures. So I'm being eaten alive by mosquitoes of all things. So I'm gonna have to come back out here armed with some bug spray. But for right now, I'm gonna get out of Dodge on this thing because I'm being eaten alive. But when I come back, I'm gonna bring my big socket set, and I'm gonna see if I can't get onto that front pulley to see whether or not I can't turn this engine over by hand. Because right now I don't know whether or not I'm dealing with an engine that's locked up, or I got a bad starter, or if I'm just not getting enough juice to that starter because of the cables being old. I mean, there's any number of things could be going on here. Well, day 2 of Operation International 300 Rescue. Well, back today, armed with bug spray and more tools. And I thought about it after I left and realized I can't get onto the front of that crankshaft pulley nut with any kind of a wrench, because that's got some kind of adapter on it. It's got a shaft that comes out through the front here to run this hydraulic pump for the loader system. So what I'm hoping to do is I brought some pipe wrenches and vice grips to see whether or not I can maybe grab onto this and turn this shaft and hopefully not snap anything. Well, I tried putting a large pipe wrench on there. This is better to grab onto, but the problem is once the pipe wrench is in this position, then I can't get my helper bar on there because the frame for the loader's in the way. So I tried grabbing on over here, and I'll tell you, I was torquing that pretty bad and watching in here and noticing that this pulley wasn't moving any bit. So if I was moving anything, I was either slipping on this pipe, on this shaft, which it looks like I was, or either that or that was twisting. Either way, that sucker sure seems stuck. I think I'm gonna pull some spark plugs out and take a look at the condition of them. I'll just pull the 4 plugs. Plug number 1, cylinder number 1, looks pretty good. Number 2, I don't even know what to say about this. Maybe somebody out there could tell me what the heck this is. It looks like, I don't even know what to make of that. I don't know if they had a problem with the spark plug hole and stripped it out and they had to put this insert on, and then I don't know if that spark plug's welded to that or if that's just so rusted. I don't know. Number 3 also looked pretty good, but number 4 has definite corrosion on it. Rust. So right now I'm just curious whether or not this plug will thread into this hole down here that weird contraption came on. I don't know. Doesn't feel like it's going in. Like maybe the thread pitch of that hole has been changed. I'll have to look at that really closely. Well, got some Marvel mystery oil in my squirt can here. I'll squirt some into the cylinders and let it sit. See if that helps any. Well, last night I came out here and I took the 3 bolts out to drop the starter out of place, and tried cranking the starter without it hooked up to anything, and the starter did crank. So starter's not bad. And then last thing I did was I topped off the cylinders with some more mystery oil, and now I'm out here this morning. I'm going to try it again. Alright, I hooked a little extension wire on here, that way I can jump this thing, this ignition switch. Well, the fan blade's moving up and down a little bit, because that's a good sign. Alright, see if we can't put a pipe wrench on that shaft again. Well, I even tried hooking the truck up and jumped and give it a little more power, but I think the starter's getting plenty of power now, and it's just that it's locked up. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go get some diesel fuel, and I think I'll put a good amount of diesel fuel in each cylinder and let that sit and soak. Well, I've loaded up the cylinders with diesel fuel. Now I'm going to let it sit and soak.